Before we deconstruct the brutal, mathematically unforgiving reality of the startup compensation in the global market, I have exactly 3 critical questions for you to answer in the comments below. Number 1, are you currently accepting a below market salary in exchange for startup equity, completely blind to the liquidation preferences buried in your contract? Number 2, if your company execute a $100 million exit tomorrow morning, do you know exactly where your specific employee stock options rank in the payout waterfall, or are you just guessing? Number 3, do you understand the lethal mathematical differences between the common stock and participating preferred stock? Or are you hoping your founder is simply a good person? Let me know your answers. If you're new to the channel, here is my intro. I'm Dr. HR. I approach the global labor and capital market not with emotional comforting advice, but as a structural algorithmic system. I hold a PhD in Human Resources, a Master's from prestigious Tata Institute of Social Sciences, TISS in Mumbai, and a Bachelor's in Computer Engineering. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 corporate entities, sovereign wealth funds, and apex tech founders across the Middle East and India, I have monitored exactly how global talent is compensated, and more importantly, how it is legally exploited. The market does not reward your loyalty. It rewards your ability to read the contract. You have spent years grinding for a piece of a pie, working 80 hours a week, believing your startup equity will make you wealthy. But your equity is officially worth 0. In 2026, predatory liquidation preferences, brutal down rounds, and complex waterfall math have turned employee stock options into ghost equity. I am exposing the hidden capitalization table traps that founders and venture capitalists use to ensure you get absolutely nothing while investors takes everything. Stop looking at your share count and start looking at the liquidation stack. Most startup employees do not realize they are an absolute bottom of a zero-sum game specifically designed to pay out only the top tier. We are auditing the brutal mathematical reality of the current exit strategies to show you exactly why your projected millions are just worthless paper. What if I told you that a successful exit, a massive acquisition that puts your company on cover of Forbes, could result in a massive payday for your boss, a massive return for the investors, and a check for exactly $0 for you? This is the reality of the 2026 ghost equity scam, where hidden clauses prioritize investors' returns over your biological labor. We are stripping back the corporate jargon to reveal exactly how you are being legally robbed. Before I completely dismantle the illusion of startup wealth, expose the exact mechanics of the liquidation waterfall, and give you the precise architectural blueprint to protect your biological labor from venture capital predation, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor and capital market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these execution protocols. Stop working for ghost equity, start engineering real leverage. Grab a notebook, it is time to audit the cap table. Phase 1, the provocative warning, the illusion of the share count. We must first diagnose the exact debilitating mathematical illusion that venture capitalists and startup founders use to manipulate top-tier talent across Dubai, Bangalore, and Silicon Valley. When a brilliant engineer or a high-agency marketing director joins an early-stage startup, the founder deploys a specific psychological hook. They offer a below-market salary, say AED 20,000 dirhams, instead of your market value of AED 40,000. But they offer you 100,000 shares in the company. The founder tells you, we're going to $1 billion unicorn. Those 100,000 shares will make you a millionaire. You are an owner now. This is an illusion of the share count. The employee focuses entirely on the numerator, 100,000 shares, and completely ignores the denominator, the total number of shares, the strike price, and the preference stack. In May 2026, those 100,000 shares are ghost equity. They look real on a digital dashboard. They vest over 4 years. You pay taxes on them, but they possess zero structural integrity. You have spent years grinding for a piece of the pie, burning your cognitive bandwidth, destroying your physical health, All because you believed the founder's valuation model. But in 2026, the era of easy venture capital money is over. Interest rates are volatile, valuations have collapsed. When the company finally exits, when it is sold to a larger conglomerate, the predatory liquidation preferences activate. These are the complex mathematical clauses buried deep in the corporate charter that dictate exactly who gets paid first. I'm exposing the hidden cap table traps the founder used to ensure you get nothing while investor takes everything. Because when the music stops, the system is designed to protect the capital, not the labor. Phase 2, the mathematical revelation, the liquidation waterfall. To understand how you are robbed legally, we must decode the physics of a startup exit. We must map the liquidation waterfall. When a company is acquired, the money does not get distributed evenly to everyone holding a share. The distribution flows down a strict, uncompromising hierarchy. Stop looking at your share count and start looking at a liquidation stack. Here is a brutal reality of the 2026 corporate structure. Tier 1, senior debt. The banks get paid first. Tier 2, the investors, preferred stock, venture capitalists do not buy the same stock you do. They buy preferred stock and specifically they demand liquidation preferences. Let us run a mathematical scenario. A VC invests $20 million into your startup with a 2x participation liquidation preference. This means that if a company is sold, the VC mathematically guarantees they get double their money back, like $40 million, before a single penny is distributed to anyone else. But it gets worse. The word participating is a lethal dagger. It means that after the VC takes their initial $40 million off the top, they also get to participate in dividing whatever is left over and the rest of the employees. They doubled it. Tier 3, the founders, the management carves out. The founder realizes the VC is taking all the money. So they negotiate a management carve-out or a retention bonus to ensure they get paid regardless of the stock price. Tier 4, your common stock. You are at the absolute bottom of the waterfall. You hold common stock. Let us say your company sells for $50 million. It sounds like a massive success. It hits the headlines. You open your banking app, waiting for your millions. But the bank takes $5 million. The VC executes their 2x preference and takes $40 million. The founder takes a $5 million retention bonus. The $50 million is gone. The waterfall ran dry before it hit Tier 4. Your 100,000 shares are mathematically worth exactly $0. Most startup employees don't realize they are at the bottom of a zero-sum game designed to pay out only the top tier. Your millions are just worthless paper because you assumed all equity was created equal. It is not. Phase 3, the behind-the-scenes exposé, the down round trap. We must push deeper into the mechanics of the 2026 market to expose an even more aggressive wealth destruction event. The down round recapitalization. In the hyper-inflated market of 2021 and the 2022, the startups raised money at astronomical, unjustified valuations. The company with zero revenue was valued at $500 million. You join the company and you strike a price. The price you have to pay to exercise your option was set based on that massive $500 million valuation. And now it is 2026. The market has corrected. The AI bubble is facing intense scrutiny. The company runs out of cash and needs to raise more money to survive. But no investor will pay $500 million valuation. The new investors agrees to fund the company, but only at $100 million valuation. In a massive payday for your boss and check for a $0 for you. When the down round happens, the new investor demands a clean cap table. They deploy brutal financial engineering called a Cram-Down. They issue new shares that completely dilutes the existing employee pool. Your 1% ownership becomes 0.01% overnight. Furthermore, your strike price is now higher than the actual value of the stock. You are underwater. If you leave the company, you have 90 days to buy your own options. But why would you pay $10 for a share that is now mathematically worth $2? You are forced to abandon the equity you spent 4 years grinding for. You forfeit the ghost equity back to the company, where it is repackaged and given to the new executive team. This is the reality of the 2026 ghost equity scam. The hidden clauses prioritize investors' return over your hard work. You took the biological risk, the stress, the long hours, the reduced salary, and the investor used legal architecture to strip away your reward. Phase 4. the physics of the good lever, bad lever clauses. We must address specifically insidious legal trap utilized heavily in the UK, UAE, and the emerging startup hub. This is a mechanism found used to steal your equity even if the company is actually profitable. We must decode the good lever versus the bad lever provisions. You negotiated hard. You read the cap table, you vest your shares over 4 years, you decide to leave the startup to launch your own venture in the DIFC. You believe your vested shares are yours forever. Then you receive a letter from founder's legal team invoking the levers clause hidden on page 42 of your shareholder agreement. These clauses dictate what happens to your vested stock when you leave the company before an exit. If you are classified as a good lever, example, you die or you are fired without cause, you might be allowed to keep your vested share. But if you are classified as a bad lever, which founders frequently define as simply resigning voluntarily or going to the work for a competitor, the company has a legal right to forcefully buy back all your vested shares. And they do not buy them back at the current high market value. The clause explicitly states they can buy them back at the original nominal value, fractions of a penny, or the price you paid for them. You spent 4 years building the enterprise value of the firm from $10 million to $100 million. You resign. The founder triggers the bad lever clause, rips your vested equity away, pays you exactly what you put in, and absorb your created value into their own portfolio. You have been legally robbed. You are an employee disguised as an owner. Page 5. The sovereign executive defense, architecting the real leverage. We have diagnosed the illusion of a share count, exposed the liquidation waterfall, decoded the down round clamp down, and analyzed the lever clauses. The final phase is your immediate execution protocol. If you are an apex operator in Dubai, Mumbai, or global tech market, how do you protect your biological labor from venture capital predation? You must deploy the sovereign equity protocol. Step 1. Reject the salary discount. Never under any circumstances accept a below market salary purely on promise of a common stock equity. You are an operator, not a venture capitalist. The VC can afford for 9 out of 10 startups to fail. You only have one biological life. If the founder wants you to take 40% pay cut, you do not ask for a common option. You demand a guaranteed milestone-based cash bonus structure tied directly to the revenue generation. Step 2. The cap table audit. The prenup. Before you sign the offer letter, you must demand absolute visibility. You must ask the CEO 3 questions. What is the exact liquidation preference stack on the preferred share? Are the current investor shares participating on a non-participating? What is the total fully diluted share count, including the unissued option pool? If the founder refuses to answer these questions, citing confidentiality, you instantly terminate the negotiation. They are hiding a trap. Step 3. Eradicate the 90-day exercise window. If you are granted options, the standard contract gives you 90 days to buy them if you leave the company. This is a trap designed to force you to forfeit the shares because you don't have the cash to cover the tax liability. You must negotiate an extended exercise window up to 7 or 10 years into your employment contract on day 1. Step 4. The secondary market pivot. Do not wait for the IPO or the acquisition. Exit are taking 10 to 12 years in the 2026 market. If you build massive value in your first 4 years, demand the right to sell a portion of your vested share on secondary market like 4 global or local GCC secondary hubs. During subsequent funding rounds, liquidate the ghost equity into hard fiat currency or sovereign digital asset while valuation is high. Step 5. Broadcast your leverage. If you are an apex operator, you do not need the startup. The startup desperately needs you. You step into your acoustic-treated digital studio. You deploy your elite Cineline gear, your Sony FX2 camera example. You import the data into your DaVinci Resolve 20. You build a high-fidelity digital broadcast proving your exact structural value to the global market. You show how your specific code, your specific marketing architecture, your specific HR logistics generate millions in an unautomatable revenue. When a founder watches that broadcast, they realize they cannot trap you with a ghost equity. They know you command the market. They will offer you a restricted stock option, RSUs, or actual structural profit sharing because you possess absolute sovereign leverage. Look closely at the contract you signed. Look at the options vesting in your dashboard. Are they mathematically real? Or are they psychological sedative designed to make you accept a mediocre salary? The 2026 economy is ruthless. The capital allocators have engineered the system to protect themselves at your expense. Stop working for ghost equity. Demand transparency. Audit the waterfall. Engineer your leverage and force the market to pay you in the asset they actually exist. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I will see you at the top.